Hey everyone, it's Richard Metal Fan here, bringing you guys an old school album review. And today we're going to be looking into this album's 15th anniversary, and it's from a band. If you're into the whole post-hardcore kind of metalcore style, and as you can see below the title, today we're going to be talking about "Define the Great Line" by Underoath. This was the band's fifth album, released on June 20th, 2006, under Solid State Records or Tooth and Nail at the time, or whatever, blah blah blah. Now this of course follows up their previous album, They're Only Chasing Safety, which I thought was a pretty good album, and that was pretty much, in my opinion, where Underoath really started to take notice and started getting a lot of hype, and there was a lot of like a anticipation for a follow-up, like following up after They're Only Chasing Safety, because going back to even like their first two albums, Act Depression and Cry from the Past, that was kind of like more in the almost kind of like death metal-ish, kind of almost black metal a little bit. And then after those albums, they changed their style to post-hardcore, and it's almost crazy to think that that was those first two albums would from Underoath. It's the same band that would actually put out They're Only Chasing Safety and Define the Great Line. So it's kind of interesting to see how Underoath have changed over the years. Like, they've definitely evolved and changed up their styles. In this album, I think a lot of people would agree this is a classic in post-hardcore or metalcore core in general, and I definitely think it's a really great album. I think it's just has some insane like just heavy moments, and also sort of like more softer, somber moments, and they definitely have like that kind of hardcore metalcore style, but they also have a little bit of like sludgier kind of like influences thrown in there. Just let's talk. Production is fantastic. They've worked with Adam D from Killswitch Engage, and I think he's a really great producer, and I think he also can really hone in on what Underoath can do. Just like and then the vocal work. Let's just talk about the vocal work from Spencer Chamberlain. I think his vocals does like a lot of the more aggressive vocals, and you could definitely kind of like feel the pain and sort of like the anger in his voice when he does his yells. And then for the clean vocals from Aaron Gillespie, their drummer. I think Aaron, it's insane. Like, I don't even know how he plays drums and sings at the same time. It's just insane what he can do, and I think he's a really talented guy, and he's definitely one of the best like clean vocalists in the metalcore genre. The guitar work is pretty tight from Tim Teague and James Smith. Both, just the riffs they come up with is solid and just really just out there. The bass I kind of wish was a little bit audible, but I think just Grant just follows like what he does with what James and Tim do. The keys from Chris Dudley definitely adds a lot of like depth and atmosphere, and I think the drumming from, of course, Aaron is really superb. He keeps it beat, and he does like some really insane stuff with the drums. So yeah, and I pretty much rambled on for 3 minutes, so let's just dive into this album track by track. Now, starting things off is In Regards to Myself. Now, if it starts off with a little bit of like a tape rolling sound, and then a driving guitar part just comes in, and then Spencer just comes right in, the song just opens up, but it's just absolutely brutal, and the intensity of the song is awesome, and the music in it is really kind of epic sounding, and this is a really great way to start off this album. From, like, I don't know, it's just really great opener. And then we move on to A Moment Suspended in Time. And this, in my opinion, I think is pretty much my favorite song on the album. And Spencer and Aaron's vocals are perfect, and Aaron's drumming is just masterful, and the rest of the music is full of really emotion. And then Aaron's vocals on this song are perfect. And this isn't like a standard structure. There are sort of like lyrics that flow in with like no refrains or choruses or music that progresses and intensifies as it is. It's just really an intense song. Next up is There Could Be Nothing After This. Now, this one sort of like carries the momentum of the previous song really well, and the guitars on here is perfectly layered with sort of like the drums, and it's just driving. And then Aaron's parts are really meaningful, and Spencer's aggressive vocals really sort of like conveyed the lyrics well, and sort of like adds a great contrast to Aaron's. And it's just, I don't know, it's a really good song. We move on to You're Ever So Inviting. Now, this song is a pretty good. The guitars are kind of much really resonate well with the music, and it really adds to the album. The lyrics are great, and I don't think this one has like a structure sure to it, although there is one refrain that I do like especially the lyrics is like, the ground we tread upon, we turn the pages left to right, and the lyrics really kind of like encourage sort of like deep thing, and after four songs in, this really has changed my mind or about them. Then we move on to Sal Minor. Now this song isn't really a song, so to speak. It's just a 3 minute instrumental. It sort of like keeps the same beat all the way through, but the second half has sort of like from what I heard is like a Bible verse, but it's spoken in Russian. And it's a really relaxing song, but I don't really listen to this one much. But it does have like a cool beat in the verse in there. Then we move on into Returning Empty Handed. Now this song is another heavy epic one, but this song honestly doesn't do it as much to me as like the first few songs. Song is nearly this song is insanely intense, however it's a really good listen, but it isn't like one of those standout songs, if you know what I mean. It has a quite few good leads and grooves throughout the song, but it doesn't have kind of that feel as some of the other songs on here. And then we move on to Casting Such a Thin Shadow. Now this song has a different vibe for this album, and it's something we didn't really need to see on like the last album, to They're Only Chasing Safety. And this song is really a 6 minute experiment, or kind of like almost the epic of the album, and it's a really great song. It's mostly instrumental, but it feels like it takes you on an emotional journey throughout like the whole 6 minutes in, and the guitar playing is very beautiful, and the drumming has a very solid backbeat, and this song has like a huge amount of like great value to it, and just the intensity and the arrangements build up until the vocals come in, and the drums with the vocals sound very different, and also very unique and very technical. And in my opinion, it's a very good song and a highlight of the album. Next song on the album is called Moving for the Sake of Motion. Now the drumming on this song is pretty much the best. It's the most flashy drumming that Aaron has done on the whole album, and the opening fills sort of like add to the guitars, and then Spencer's vocals on this song is just really in your face, and the music is just frantic, and this is in my opinion one of Underoath's best ever songs, and the lyrics feels like talking about give the passion as not a lot of metal bands can do, and I feel like metal is always interpreted as like a genre of anger, but I say is the one genre left in the world that really just shows emotion at all. Next up is Writing on the Walls. Now this is another one of Underoath's well-known songs, and it sort of like starts off with a similar kind of like sound to They're Only Chasing Safety, but this time I feel like it has a true emotion in the music, and it's much beefier, and it has some really great vocals. And I don't know, this for when I first heard it, this song took a while to grow on me, but at the end the song is really good. But it's not as like heavier than the previous songs, but it still has like a headbanging worthy moments, and Aaron's vocals really shine on this song as well as like the guitar. And there's like a great instrumental passage about 2/3 in and all the way through, and it's very nice and very relaxing. And after like Aaron sings a bit, and then Spencer and the rest of the guys just blow up and the rage resumes. It's almost kind of a little bit progressive at times, and it's really a great song. Next up is Everyone Looks So Good From Here, and this song is extremely heavy and just right in your face, but on my honest opinion, it just doesn't do much for me. Kind of similar to one of the other songs I talked about, if I can't remember the name, but anyway, like it's a solid track, but I think it's better than most of the songs from the previous album. But it has like a nice groove and a lot of really good drum work. But then we close things off with To Whom It May Concern, which is the longest on the album, but kind of like Casting Such a Thin Shadow. It has a lot bit more to it, and Aaron's like vocals are more upfront, and his beat throughout is pretty solid throughout the song, and the vocals really add sort of like another dimension. And this song takes a lot of like a more darker, heavier turn around like the 3 minute mark, with Spencer coming in doing some sick vocals, and then the guitars becoming more distorted and heavy. And this song pretty much stays slow tempo, but that just rocks the same sort of like forward towards the end, and it just mellows back out. And this song is a really good way to end this album. Now, overall, Define the Great Line by Underoath is a really solid album, or good album in the post-hardcore metalcore. And if you haven't heard this album, and if you're a fan of post-hardcore metalcore, what are you doing? You need to check this out. So if I had to give this album a score, I'm going to give Define the Great Line by Underoath a solid 9 out of 10. So yep, that's my review of the album, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the album, and I'll see you on the next video. And as always, keep it metal.